All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to whatever you want to call this. I'm not even really sure what I'm calling it yet. But we got Student Section FB here on Instagram with us. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right, so we got a lot of draft stuff to talk about today. We got a lot of different things. We both have new mocks coming out soon. We both have just been talking draft stuff back and forth. We've been hearing some stuff from a bunch of different sources. So I'll let you get started. Just whatever you want to talk about, just get us going.
So there was one thing. Actually, let me go pull it up because I saw something I wanted to talk to you about on Instagram this morning about the draft. Yeah, apparently the Patriots had a video conference with James Morgan
I
from
saw
FIU.
that.
Pretty high on
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
he could be another mid-round get for them if they turn him
yeah.
into
I
someone
think he's
special.
like fifth to seventh round, but I like him a lot. I'm real high on him. He has all that football intelligence and has been around pro teams because of his parents. His dad, I think, was with the Bengals or the Browns for a while when he was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. So he grew up around all that. So I think he could really be, you know, the next
Yeah,
very, very well fits in the Belichick mold.
yeah, and he seems like a Patriots kind of quarterback, like someone that no one's really heard about, but he's got all the
Yep.
tools for sure. So,
Yeah, I think he played at Green Bay before he transferred to FIU too.
oh, okay,
So he was an FCS kid.
nice. I mean, even then, like even FIU is not a big school either, so.
No, but
Yeah, he's definitely not a name that a lot of people know, but he's a name that people should start to know
but
because he's
my
solid.
my concern watching his film though is the arm. He doesn't have a lot of plus arm talent, but he makes up for it with like he can read a defense, he can
Yeah.
run, he can make the right decisions, but
Mm-hmm.
his arm is not anything special, and that might hold him back at the NFL level a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely not elite. There's a lot there's more loft than zip there is on the ball for him. Um, so he's gonna have to rely more on touch passes when it gets down the red zone or downfield. Um, but yeah, he like you said, he's smart and he can read defense well. So
Yeah.
that fits well with what Belichick wants. He wants someone that can break down defense as well and understand what they're looking at. And if that means sacrificing a little arm strength, then that's something that Belichick's cool with.
Yeah, I mean, he can make a quarterback do very well even without plus arm talent
Mm-hmm.
because Belichick has done it for years. And in the last few years with Brady, his arm has been declining. And before this last season, they were still not really
Right.
missing a beat. This last season, it kind of fell apart a little bit, but they also had almost no weapons.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, the mocks that have Herbert falling to them or Love falling to them, I don't think they're going to go for either of those guys because
Yeah.
Herbert's a big arm, but he struggles with breaking down defenses sometimes. And like we discussed before, he gets a little, giddy when the pocket starts to break down. That's not something that
Yeah.
Belichick's going to want. And then Jordan Love, even though his 2018 film is fantastic, he did struggle with decision making this past year. So that's not something Belichick's going to want either. So I don't like none of the first round guys that would fall to them make really sense for the Belichick mold.
Yeah. And one thing with Herbert and the pocket breaking down, if he was a Patriot, Belichick can develop any O lineman into like a Pro Bowler who gets a giant deal
True.
after he leaves the Patriots. So
Yeah, the Patriots have one of the best O line coaches in the business.
yeah, and they
Ranking,
have
so
for years. So uh, one thing I wanted to ask you: do you want to run through top 10 RBs list on here?
oh yeah, I've been thinking about. I haven't completely finished it, but I mean I can do it on here to be honest. Because
I don't really have much beyond the top four. Beyond
okay,
yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, because I meant to watch some more film and stuff, and I watched bits and pieces, but I didn't sit
Mm-hmm.
down and actually get through a whole list.
Right. Yeah, let's do that. But before we get to that, because we'll make that like our meat segment to
Yeah.
really make this, like for the end of this video and stuff. I want to hit on the Cowboys sorcerers talk to me about what they're gonna do with their pick.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's like two tiers to what they want, right?
Yeah. So what I heard from on a podcast, an athletic podcast with a Cowboys beat writer, was the Cowboys are if they got someone like Derek Brown or someone like that to fall to them, they'd take it. One of the top tier defensive prospects, but
So like
Simmons, Brown,
Kinlaw, Simmons.
yeah, but none of them are falling to the
Right.
Cowboys. And I doubt Henderson falls to them, but their tiers of prospects they're really looking at is tier 1 is C.J. Henderson, the corner out of Florida, and Clavon Chasen, the edge
Right.
defender
And
out of
Chase
LSU.
could definitely be there for him.
Yeah, and he definitely could be there for them, and they're really high on him, is what I've heard. And then beyond that, they like Trevon Diggs and Xavier McKinney from Alabama, both secondary, both DB guys. And
Those
I had
Alabama guys.
I had McKinney in my first mock draft. I think this next one I'm switching it to Chase on because he was still available for them. And if he's in their like higher tier, I believe they'd pick him first.
Right.
Plus, pass rusher is a premier position.
Do you know? Did they say if Chase and Henderson are both available? Like, did they say which one they prefer more?
I don't know which one I know they're really high on Chase on, but I think cornerback is a little bit of a bigger need for them.
I agree. Yeah.
Because they just lost Byron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So I would personally think Henderson, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them go Chase on too. I just think I honestly think the Falcons are probably targeting the two same guys. So whichever one the Falcons don't pick,
I think it's similar too, where if you get something like Brown or Kinlaw that somehow falls to the Falcons, they'll probably go there instead of cornerback as well. I haven't heard anything on this, but I personally think that Henderson could end up going a lot higher than we think. I think that 9 spot to the Jaguars is.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's around a little bit, but it's not super talked about. It just seems like a very Jaguars thing to do. Like they've lost both their corners now, and yeah, they have a need kind of all over the defense because if they're going to trade Ngakoue, which seems pretty inevitable, they'll need a edge rusher across from Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Interior D line is in need, which Brown or Kinlaw could both be there, or at least one of them will be. But with no corners and Henderson's kind of like right down the road, almost. State of Florida, stay in state. I think it's going to be a pretty appealing pick for them.
It will be, and Henderson's stock has been rising. I'm real high on him. He's my there's a bigger gap between Henderson and all the corners below him for me than anyone after him.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
There's definitely the fall off
of Henderson. It's like Okudah gap, Henderson gap, and the rest.
Yeah. And I don't know, just he has uncanny length and coverage skills. He's not afraid to get up there, mix it up in the run game. And even though I don't think he intercepted a pass last season, I looked back some of his older film. He has ball skills. So I think it was more a matter of not being thrown at that much.
Yeah, he wasn't really a side that a lot of quarterbacks wanted to go to.
No.
But yeah, I really like he'll probably be going 9 in my next mock because that's just something that I can see happening. It's not a lock by any means, and I don't have any source to confirm that, but it is something that feels like the Jaguars might
It feels like a good pick, yeah. I do think if Derek Brown's available for the Jaguars, though, they would take Brown over Henderson.
Yeah, that'd be hard to pass up on. But I'm kind of with you that because you were telling me earlier about because I kind of discussed with you that the Panthers might go Kinlaw instead of Brown as a culture pick. I'm kind of starting to get on with you. Like the Brown can just do more. Almost
Brown,
Matt Rule might be like, okay, like this guy, he's clearly better. We need to get down on that front 7.
He's a different kind of D tackle prospect. Like he's one of those one in a class prospects. He's the only one of his kind in this class.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll probably have them. I think I had them trade out back to 15 in my last mock, which makes sense because they do have a lot of holes as well, and they could use more picks. But I think I'll probably have them sit there and go Derek Brown at 7 my next mock.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the Panthers.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about the Jaguars.
No, sorry, the Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about, but it's slipping my mind right now. But one other question is, it's a little bit looking forward, but when Derek Stingley comes out, do you think he's one of the best corner prospects since I don't know, who was a superstar corner prospect coming out?
I mean, I feel like his stock would be very similar to what Okudah's is now, to be honest.
But I think, but Stingley has that just otherworldly kind of. I think Stingley, when he comes out, will be higher graded than Okudah.
Right, and when he comes out, he'll have been there 3 years, and for 3 years in a row, he'll have been the best DB on his team.
Yeah, probably best DB in the
We
league.
presume.
Yeah. And he'll probably get some Heisman hype junior year too if he's playing offense, playing both ways a little bit.
Is that something they might do with him?
Ed Orgeron promised his dad or mom or one of his parents when he committed, that if he commits to LSU, they'll let him take offensive snaps his junior year.
Huh.
So
I didn't hear about
that's
that.
something. Yeah, that's something to look forward to. As far as other things on my mock that I was playing around with the last time, I got. Let's see. So I got Chase on to the Cowboys, and then I originally had the Jags taking Chase on, I think, at 20.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got them taking Trayvon Diggs now. I know. I don't love Diggs either,
I
but
don't like Diggs as a first round prospect.
I don't see the Jaguars liking Jeff Gladney over Diggs. I could see them liking Fulton over Diggs, but that organization to me really – there's some organizations to me that I think really value that kind of SEC bit, like big athletes, SEC school, played top competition, and the Jaguars are more one of those teams to me.
Right. And yeah, I think they're going to value length, which is why they might pass on Gladney. I think Gladney is a great fit, but knowing them, they'll probably go for length. So that would mean
they like
Diggs,
the press coverage type guy.
Right. I mean Diggs, I mean Terrell. Who else is long? There's one more I'm thinking of. I can't remember their name.
I mean,
now.
Henderson is, but he'll be
right, which is why they might go him at 9, and then they can address what they want. I have a feeling that if they go Henderson at 9, instead of going defense twice in the first round, they could look to get
a receiver at 20.
Minshew another weapon, yeah. To really
yeah,
help them
that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I saw a mock the other day where the Jags took CD at 9, which I don't think is a possibility.
Ooh.
But
yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff out there about the Jets liking CD at 11.
Yeah,
which I think could have some truth to it.
To
but it could also be that they want a little bit of smoke to get like the teams underneath them to trade above them to get their guy receiver, which then pushes either O-line or like Henderson or one of those good D tackles down. Well, I know one would be D tackle. They got Quinn Williams last year. Probably to push down the O-line was my guess. I've heard some things about them liking Henderson too, but I'm not sure if they'll go that route.
I feel like if whatever they pick at 11, it should be a tackle or a receiver.
Yeah, they should either give Darnold more weapons or work on protecting him.
Who does Darnold have as weapons now? Because Robbie Anderson's gone.
They have that tight end, Chris Herndon. He came onto the scene pretty good last year. And then besides that receiver, like Quincy Enunwa.
Yeah, I mean, has he been the same since he broke his neck? Because he was on fire before that. That was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, he's not a wide receiver 1 by any means.
No. Yeah, so they definitely need – I could see them pulling the trigger on CD at 11.
Yeah, especially if all the tackles are gone.
Yeah, and I don't think that's too likely, but you never know when the tackle run could start. But I'm really sold on Simmons to the Giants now.
Yeah.
I think that
I had this thing, though, because I'm going to sneak peek in my next mock. I'm having both the Dolphins and Chargers hold firm at the Lions pick. They're like, I don't want to move up. I don't want to spend enough to move up to 3. I'm going to hold it and see what happens. And then so the Lions pick, and the Giants are up, and the Chargers see that the Dolphins didn't move up for the 3 pick. The Chargers are like, okay, we'll just jump up 2 spots now. So the Chargers end up moving up to 4 instead of 3 to get Tua. And because of that, the Giants move back, and it gives DG too much time to overthink it. And so he just goes to what he knows best, which is getting hog mollies up front. So he'll take over.
Yeah.
So I think if the Giants end up trading back, I think they go aligned because DG will have too much time to outthink himself. Like he'll overthink it if he's given too much time.
Yeah. That could definitely be the case. The other thing up at the top of the board is, speaking of smoke and mirrors with the Jets, I've heard that the Dolphins liking Herbert could be smoke and mirrors so they can just take Tua. So the Chargers will think Tua will fall to them, and then they can just take Tua themselves.
That makes sense. But the question is, will the Dolphins still try to move up to 3 just to make sure that the Chargers don't move up?
Yeah, see, that's the game that those two teams are playing with each other. And I think the most likely scenario is that they both end up not trading, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
Because
Herbert goes 6 though if they just don't move. Something
I
I
don't
could
think so
see
either.
is, well, first, if I'm not sure if they're going to go tackle there, the Chargers. It's possible, but here's what I think they'll do. If they stay put and Miami takes 2 at 5, and Simmons doesn't go 4, say, you know,
Yeah.
DG gets his hog molly,
Yeah.
Wirfs, Wills,
I
whoever he
think the
wants.
Chargers take Simmons then.
I think it's a no-brainer for the Chargers. I think they'll say, we
Absolutely.
can get a quarterback later who can move the pocket. Like, we either trade back in the first for Love or get Hurts in the second or third. I think they're comfortable with both of those guys possibly. Mostly Love. I think they
Yeah.
Love. But if Simmons is 4, I don't know if they go tackle at 6. I think they'll probably trade down something like the Browns who really want their choice at tackle. And then take
And
Love
then
at
they'll
like
take
10.
it. Yeah.
Who, like, that's more of a range for him. Taking Love at 6 seems like a little bit of reach, but if you drop to 10,
You think
11.
you still think they're going to drop to 10 and take Love?
Yeah,
I
because
would think if they trade down with the Browns, for example, and then we see the Browns get their pick, whoever it is,
probably Becton if they're coming up.
let's say it's Becton, then I think the Chargers would take Wirfs or Thomas at 10.
Right. But that's the thing, though. Like, if you're just going to take a tackle anyway, then don't trade down and just get who you want, because you'll probably be at that point, you're the first one taking a tackle because Simmons has gone at 4.
But if you can still – it depends if they really want one guy or they're fine
if they're
with
comfortable
any
with all
of the
of them.
3.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if they're comfortable with all of them, they could stockpile a little extra value out of a trade.
The only fear is like if something crazy happens, like the Browns go tackle at 6, right? Because that's who we figured they're coming up for.
Yeah.
Although I have heard they like Derek Brown, so they could come to 6 and like try to take Derek Brown from the Panthers at 7. That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
They should, if they're coming up, I feel like it's for their choice of O-tackle.
Yeah.
So the only thing that would mess up the Chargers there is if O-tackle goes 6, the Panthers try to protect Teddy Bridgewater, they take tackle. We know that 8 will probably be a tackle for Arizona. Yeah. I've also heard they like Derek Brown too, but again, I think they should prioritize getting Kyler help because he was sacked way too many times last year. And then if the Jaguars just pulling out and say, you know what, we're going to go tackle too because we need to protect Gardner Minshew, then the Chargers are kind of screwed.
Chargers have been burnt. Yeah.
Right.
But I think there are always more teams that should take linemen than do take linemen in every draft.
Yeah. Like that scenario is very unlikely.
It's just not a sexy pick for NFL GMs for whatever, because it's a trench guy, it's just a lineman. Mm-hmm. But there are going to be a lot of teams that I think pass on tackles. One thing I've seen that I don't agree with a lot is at 14, the Bucs pass up on a tackle. Like, assuming one of them's there, one of them they like Andrew Thomas is who I had my last mock, is them passing up on him for Swift at 14, which I think is an overdraft. If there's a tackle available, you take a tackle.
I don't think even if all the tackles are gone, I don't think Swift is the pick there, because this is a front office that landed Tom Brady, so we know that they know what they're doing. They're smart. They were able to convince Tom Brady to come to Tampa Bay. Like they must know what they're doing, right? They must be some intelligent guys. So they know these running backs aren't going to go flying off the board. They know there's going to be plenty of running backs, and it's a deep class.
Yeah.
In the second round, like Swift, you don't know how these running backs are going to go. Swift could be there for you in the second round, and even then, even if he's not, Edwards-Helaire will probably be there, and he's just as good of a fit for them.
Yeah,
so
and I don't think there's
any way. Go ahead.
Someone with receiving value, I think, offers more to the Patriots with Tom Brady now than someone who's, the Bucs with Tom Brady now than someone who's more of a pure runner like Taylor or Swift. And they could develop more as a receiver, but just based on the college film.
Well, Swift is definitely more of a receiving back than Taylor is. Taylor can do it.
They both did it a little this year, and as we saw when Gordon hit the NFL out of Wisconsin, he turned into a great receiving back, but just judging based off their college film, they didn't do it much.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so for me, I'll throw this in real quick and we'll get to the running backs. But for me, it's actually a good segue because my Steelers have been they've been mocked often for taking a running back, and the most common pick is Jonathan Taylor there at 49. And I'll say I don't love it. I'm not sure if I like it either, because Jonathan Taylor has very high mileage.
Yeah.
And that concerns me a lot for running backs. And he's more of a downhill runner, which he's definitely got more top end speed than Benny Snell has, but we kind of already have that guy who's going to hit it between the tackles, which is in Benny Snell. And
Yeah,
we have James Conner too. Like we keep acting
those are
like James
both just
Conner is gone, but he's not. James Conner is another downhill runner. Who again, yes, Jonathan Taylor's has better open field speed than most of them with that 4.4. But I'd rather get a guy like Edwards-Helaire. Cam Akers is another good take that I get there. Who can they're better receivers out of the backfield, but I'd rather have one of those.
yeah.
Personally, I think they're just going to go best player available at 49, which is very Steelers to do because if you look at their track record, there's usually some guy on the board there who shouldn't be there for them, and that's the guy that end up going.
Especially without a first round pick, their only top 50 pick, best player available right at the back end of the top 50 makes a lot of sense because there's going to be someone who slid.
Mm-hmm. Someone I'd love to see them get if he slides, which I doubt. I think this guy's probably gonna his stock will continue to rise throughout the next couple of weeks. But it's Jeremy Chin, because I think he could be very Palomalu-esque for us. Guy who can play safety in the box and he just flies around, heat-seeking missile,
plays on his hair with his hair on fire.
Yeah. So I'd love to get him if he falls, but I doubt he will. I can see one of the best, like better D linemen falling, like Matabuke or Blacklock. One of those fall, that could be a get for us. But yeah, I don't. A lot of Steelers fans are saying it's set in stone that we take running back, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I feel like it's been obvious the trend in the NFL and in the draft especially is running backs. You can pick up a third, fourth, fifth rounder, and he can probably, come in and play meaningful snaps for you.
Right. Yeah.
Get some good production.
And I know Tomlin loves Benny Snell, and we got him like in the 4th round last year. So
yeah,
like I don't see why they break from that format and then reach on a running back in the 2nd.
No, I have one more question for you before we jump into the top 10 backs.
All right, go for it.
It's a Kyle Duggar question. Where do you see Duggar going?
Because mid to late second, I think.
Has his stock kind of fallen a little bit, or has it just been probably not having any of the pro day stuff, interview stuff, all that hurts the small school guys more for sure.
Yeah, I mean
they have less exposure.
His combine really set him in stone as a 2nd round pick. I mean, maybe he could fall into the 3rd, but I think he's guaranteed day 2. And yeah, he's smaller school, so the level of competition is definitely one of his cons, right?
Yeah.
But he's freaky athletic, which he showed the combine. You just
look at him, and you can tell he's kind of just like he's an NFL player.
Right. And I saw this tweet, I think last week. I forgot who it was from, but they're like someone asked the NFL GM or scout or something like that, like where to rank which order Chin, Duggar, and Grant Delpit go in. And the guy said Chin, Duggar, Delpit. Like Delpit can go after those two. Like he thinks that Delpit will go after those 2 guys. Which I think Chin is definitely above him. Maybe Duggar. We'll see. But yeah, I keep seeing like all these mock drafts people put out, and then people in the comments are like, "Oh, where's Delpit?" It's like, oh, you're in for a surprise come draft day because he's not going in the 1st round.
I think Delpit might slide to the 3rd.
Oh, it's possible. Honestly, he could be one of those guys who just takes a wild slide for just which seems crazy to casual fans, but us kind of following a draft I've seen coming. Same with T. Higgins. He's probably going to go in the 2nd, and everyone in those mock drafts are like, "Where's T. Higgins? Why is he going in the 1st?" It's like, well, he didn't test
It's just another guy who, like, in a normal receiver class, probably could be a top 5 receiver.
Right, but with this class, it's just
so many
stupid.
Of them. I know.
I'll roll off my top 5 for receivers real quick before we get to because I'm coming out with top 10 this month before draft, but I'll get the top 5 right now because the top 3 are pretty obvious. I've got CD, Judy, Ruggs.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think Justin Jefferson is the next best.
Yeah.
And he should be the next one off the board. His 4.4 time at the combine really set in stone him as a 1st rounder. And then after that, I'm really conflicted with Mims or Rager's 5. I'm probably going Mims right now just because of his athleticism. And Rager's a great open field too, but he didn't run as well at the combine. I think that'll hurt him a little bit. But
did he really not?
He ran like a 4.5, 4.6.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, which is weird.
He seems so much faster on the field.
Yeah, he flies on the field. I think it's because he put on weight for the combine to look bigger and then as well. Yeah, you can watch the film. His game speed is up there.
Oh no, yeah, he was the first guy of any of this receiver class I watched. Well, before the season, I watched Chenault, Judy, and Lamb,
Hmm.
but and Higgins. But after the season, the first guy I did for the draft was Rager, and what shocked me so much is his like toughness and jump ball ability for someone his because you look at him, you think he's just a speed guy, you think he's kind of a
Right.
short
He's like 5'10",
corner.
200 or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. But there were plays where he would high point the ball, attack it, out jump the defender, and just make a strong hands away from the body
Right.
catch
And I'm a big
protect
fan
the
of him
ball.
because his route running is really good too. And there are a lot of plays where, if you watch the film, he's suffered a little bit in terms of like his production. It could have been higher if he had better QB play.
That's
Like
exactly what I
he
said
had a
in my
few
breakdown. Yeah,
plays where he ran a perfect route and the guy just misses him, or he had one, it was a sluggo, or he broke the DB off bad, and it was
yeah,
just slightly underthrown so DB could catch up and he didn't score because he got tackled inside the 5. So it's just little things like that. I think he's
but
special,
just
but I'll go Mims at 5 for now, but Rager's close. And I mean, bringing the top 10 receivers is going to be near impossible for me because
I know it was impossible
so.
for me too, dude. I forgot Michael Pittman when I did my original one, and I think he's probably a top 10
But
guy
even
for me
then,
by now.
he's so good, but we're not even sure he's top 10 guy.
See, that's the thing. But the big difference I have the same top two as you, Judy Lamb, and then number 3, I've actually got Chenault.
So
Um,
yeah, I don't mind that though.
I'm high on him. I think injury concerns and all that will not make him, a first round pick. But I've seen some where he goes to the Packers at 30. But
I think
I think talent wise,
he
he's
should be a
probably
first
third.
round pick. He should be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
first round pick, I think, based on talent because he's you can't really game plan for him because he's so big
No,
and so fast. Like
there's no one
he had
else
a
like
core
6'4", 220.
right. He had a core muscle injury that he played through at the combine, which is ridiculous. He got surgery after the combine. He still ran a 4.5, and everyone expected him to run faster. It's like, why didn't he run as fast? Oh, he had a core muscle injury.
Yeah.
So when he had the injury, he still ran a 4.5. And then so yeah, not a result of the medical concern because he got surgery and they don't know if people if can clear him or whatever the concern is. But I don't know. Does he have an injury history?
Does he have an injury history? I'm not too sure. I just know this year. I think 2018 was a fairly healthy year. He might have missed a game or two,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was more the lingering nature because he missed about half the season this year, I want to say. And I'm pretty sure
Okay.
with either a lingering injury over the season or two separate things, the
Mm-hmm.
core and something else. But he was beat up for a majority of this year.
Gotcha. So yeah,
So
I think talent wise, for he's first round for sure. I don't know if I put him over Ruggs. That's close. But even then, like I forgot about him talking about top 5.
yeah,
I might have to put him in there now. I don't know,
yeah. See,
but
there's
I
just
don't
too
put
many
him over
receivers.
Ruggs because Ruggs get this reputation because he ran fast. Like he's John Ross. It's that's not true.
Yeah, no. You watch some of those plays where he breaks off his defender on a simple like two-step slant. He catches it with the defender maybe a step behind, but then once he catches it, his acceleration, no one else
Yeah.
touches him. He splits the safeties and he's
And
gone.
he's a more complete receiver than John Ross was.
Yeah,
And honestly, if you watch like at least this past year, the connection between Ruggs or Tua and Ruggs is better than the one between Tua and Judy. Like the
really?
product, I felt like the better connection was Tua to Ruggs, just because Ruggs, when he was burning guys, and maybe it's because DBs were probably focusing Judy more because if he was the Blitnikoff winner the year
Yeah.
before, but Tua to Ruggs was a thing of beauty in 2019. So
Man, there is nothing more beautiful in this receiver class to me than Jerry Judy's routes though.
that's fair. That's fair.
He it's the first time I ever watched film on him, what really stood out was his like body control for stop start moves and hesitation moves and stuff after the catch. But he ties that into his route running so well. He has sync at the top of his routes. He uses his hips well and he does a little head fake. He gets separation. He can turn DBs around
Mhm.
entirely.
Yeah, because I think I had him go 13 to the Niners last time. That's
Yeah,
going to be unfair for a team that's already in the Super Bowl, and then they get to add that guy.
unfair.
And I think that if um if the Jets do go CD at 11, I don't think the Raiders skip a beat with Judy.
No.
But I have heard
And
that if Kinlaw falls them at 12, that they are targeting D tackle and receiver, which is odd to me because that's what Matt Miller reported was that they're targeting D tackle and receiver, which is odd because I would figure receiver and corner. So if
yeah,
Kinlaw's there at 12,
you
they
think
might
they
just
might
throw out the whole receiver
go?
one thing and go. Because I heard they like Mims too, so they could go Kinlaw at 12 and Mims at 19.
I guess, but I think there's I think there's sort of a cutoff after my top four there, after Judy, CD, Visca, Ruggs. I think there's a little bit of those are like elite receiver prospects, and the other ones are just very good, which
Mm-hmm.
is still great. But I think if you have the shot to, I
Right.
would rather get some combination of like uh, Judy and Matabuke or something rather than Kenlaw and Mims.
Right. And the problem is the value for Matabuke is probably early second, and the Raiders
Yeah.
don't have a second round pick. And they could trade back in because
Ooh.
I think they got like 3 third rounders or something. But
They could trade back their
trading
19,
up back
really.
to high second round might be tough. So
Yeah.
so yeah, the value might not be there for a D tackle they want.
They could probably trade back to the end of the first round. They're 19 back to the end of the first round with someone who wants to move
True.
up,
And
though.
that's more of a range for like Gallimore. It's a bit
Yeah,
higher range,
Blacklock.
but it's still Gallimore, Blacklock, Matabuke could go
Yeah,
late
yeah, yeah.
first. Just depends on who wants to move up.
Yeah,
It could
exactly.
be the Packers at 30 if they have a receiver they really like. They're at 19.
Or, I don't know, it doesn't make too much sense to me. It doesn't seem like a Chiefs move, but if the Chiefs really like a corner they don't think is going to fall to them at 32, they could jump up right before that kind of corner run, right in the middle of it at 19.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna get to the running backs, I promise. But
Yeah, no worries.
One more thing. Igbenogany is flying up my board right now for
Really?
corners. He's not as big, but he's a scrapper. And if you his best film is his LSU film, which is stupid. That's
Auburn played
ridiculous.
LSU better than anyone this year.
Yeah,
There had to
and
be a reason for it.
he played Jamar Chase better than any other DB they saw for the entire year. So things like that, like stepping up on the biggest stage, that's what I like, especially
Against
out
the
of
Biletnikoff winner.
right, especially with that position. If you're not scared of whoever's in front of you, that's huge.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Igbenogany is a guy I really like, and I'm excited to see where he ends up. Chiefs is a good fit. Titans could be a good fit because they're not re-signing Logan Ryan most likely.
Yeah.
So they could use another corner. And they don't mind shorter corners because they drafted Dory Jackson a few years ago. So Igbenogany could be an interesting fit in Tennessee.
Who's that corner who came on strong this year for Tennessee, though?
Oh, shoot. I
There
can't think
was
of
the
his name.
there was the clip of, I think it was, I don't remember, but yeah, I think. What do you think about Javaris Davis? Have you done anything on him?
I have not.
The other Auburn corner.
I have not looked into him as much as Igbenogany.
I want to watch his LSU film and just see how he did, because I do know that LSU Auburn game, it was 23-20. It was like the closest LSU came to losing all year, and definitely the worst their offense looked all year.
Right.
So I want to see, really look into what Auburn did. I don't know. It was probably some combination of that insane front they had with Nick Coe, Marlon Davidson, Big Cat Bryant, and Derek Brown. And then they had a solid secondary. But
Right.
just going into next year for Auburn, they're going to be gutted.
Yeah, at least on the defense side of the ball.
They lost all
Offense.
5 O-linemen, too.
Oh,
All
really?
5 were seniors.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Because I've been talking about, Bo Nix and Schwartz can be a deadly connection again. But if they have to replace the whole line,
It's going to be a rough year. I think Gus could be gone after this year, to be honest. They might go like 6-6.
Oh.
They have a tough schedule.
Yeesh.
They have horrible losses. Yeah, it'll be a tough year. They'll need to.
I was looking at them at least like early on, like right after when the season ended. Like, oh, I wonder how this team could be next year because they ended the season really well.
Yeah, and you look at Bo Nix as a freshman, and you're like,
right, he's gonna be back in year 2.
Yeah.
And you look at their schedule, I'm like, oh, I don't know if they can win the SEC with that schedule. I don't think they can go undefeated or one loss.
Because their crossover games are Kentucky, Georgia, and I forget who the other one is, and then they still have LSU, Bama, and A&M. So
right.
And they have North Carolina. That's 6 tough games.
North Carolina, there. Okay, I have a lot of things to say North Carolina. I love Sam Howell, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's go top 10 running backs.
Let's get back to the draft.
All right, top 10 running backs. Number 1 for me is DeAndre Swift.
That's a pretty obvious one. I think he's the top back in this class.
He's the most complete back that we've got.
Yep. And like since the day he stepped on Georgia campus, you kind of expected this from him too.
Mm-hmm.
he was that.
He's gonna help. He's gonna help an NFL team immediately.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And he has low mileage comparatively because Georgia spreads their carries around.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
wasn't a
they
workhorse.
got a stable of backs over there. Then I got Jonathan Taylor, despite the high mileage, number 2. It's weird because I rank him as the second best back, but at the same time, like if he's the top back on the board, I won't always say he's the best pick for teams because
See,
the high mileage is such a concern for me. That yes, he's the second most talented back in the draft, but if I'm a GM, Jonathan Taylor is probably not on my board, at least not very high.
yeah.
Like I understand his talent, but like if I'm picking and like he's the best back available, I might go, might reach for a slightly better pass catcher or slightly another back doesn't have the same miles, or I might just go a different position.
For me, I'm so torn on Dobbins and Taylor. My heart really says Taylor because I do think he's the better back, but the receiving matters so much to me, and Dobbins was just otherworldly this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might honestly have Dobbins then Taylor, but there's almost nothing between them.
Right. I think for Dobbins not going through the workouts was kind of confusing to me. Like if he'd gone through the workouts and done really well, he could be the number 1 back off the board.
Yeah.
But he didn't do any workouts. I'm like, okay, like sure, solidify yourself as the 3rd best back in the draft.
He didn't run either.
He didn't do anything.
Huh.
I don't know why. Like I guess he just went for interviews, but like if he worked out, he could have solidified himself as maybe the best back in the draft and maybe even got himself into a 1st-round pick.
That's always confusing for me too, because just if I were a GM and I saw someone not work out at the combine who probably should have, like if it wasn't for injury or something, I kind of think of that as a negative in the attitude category too.
Well, like something like Burrow and Chase Young didn't do it, but I completely understand that because like they're going 1 and 2 and it's not.
They know.
I mean, unless Redskins do something crazy, but I doubt it. They're most likely going 1 and 2. So.
Yeah.
Like I understand, but J.K. Dobbins he could have helped himself so much with a phenomenal workout. So either you didn't prepare well enough, so you're not working out, you don't trust yourself to improve your stock, or you're just like, I'm comfortable where I am, and okay, but you can improve. So yeah, I didn't love that. He's in at 3 for me, the backs.
I assume we both got CEH at 4.
Yes, I do have CEH at 4, so we can just hop on over that one because I guess we know he brings to the table. His balance though is crazy. It's something I definitely want to point out because he has really low center of gravity because of his decreased size.
Yeah,
shorter than the rest. But like the way he just bounces off of defenders is really impressive.
Do you remember that play in the LSU Alabama game where he was on the right sideline by the goal line? He trucked someone, was like his momentum was carrying him out of bounds, so he spun back in, kept his balance, then dove over a body to get into the end zone.
That's ridiculous. And his greatest strength is catching the backfield too.
And that just shows his he's so compact and powerful, and he has great balance with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a hard dude to knock over.
Right. Yeah. If my Steelers, if they have CH on the board, they take him there at 49. Great pick. Like
you're happy.
Even if there's some better defender on the board, like I won't complain if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is wearing the black and gold come this fall. I won't be mad. So who you got at 5? Because this is where things start to get. This is where you can kind of start going in your own direction. Those top 4, I feel like, are pretty chalk. But number 5 is where things can start to get interesting.
So I have not gotten past the top 4, to be honest with you. But I've done some scattered research, but I don't know where they're draft rank, where they're kind of where their agreed upon draft range is for these different guys.
Right.
So I don't want to just throw someone out way too high that's ridiculous. But so I'm not going to rank it, but just guys I like a lot from watching film. I really like Zach Moss, what he brings to the table. I think he has the same mileage concerns, but just talent-wise, he has mileage and injury concerns, which are 2 bad things for running backs.
Yeah, he could end up falling to day 3, to be honest.
Yeah. See, exactly. But I like what he brings on film, and he's also a big plus as a blocker. He's very willing pass blocker.
And that Utah team is just so much better with him on the field.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you look at the record with and without Zach Moss, it's not the same.
No.
So, yeah, he's a big part of that team. And I think if you're a team MVP like that, yeah, high mileage, all that. But I think if you're important to a team like that, then you're definitely higher on my board. But again, right, you said mileage and injury; those are tough things to rank high with. So,
Yeah.
like,
And
he can end up falling to day 3 because he doesn't have the same breakaway speed like JT. So even though he has the
no,
same kind of red flags, he ain't get that top end speed. So he's probably round 4 range for me. But I'm a big fan of him. Love what he did at Utah. Him and
yeah,
Huntley, great duo. I'm excited to see where they both end up.
they're both going to be, if nothing else, very serviceable backups for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And kind of on the opposite end from the mileage concerns, someone I've been watching film on, kind of fallen in love with, his stock's rising for me, is LaMichael Pirine out of Florida.
Yeah, he has phenomenal catch out of the backfield ability. He showed that at the combine.
Yeah,
Like he blew me away. I was like, whoa. He's got good speed, good acceleration.
he
He's
can
good in
find a hole
space.
and just hit it. Like,
And his
he's
hands
a
just look
pretty
so
patient
natural.
runner. Yeah.
Yeah. He was good. I'm not sure exactly where I rank him in that. He's in my top 10 though for sure. He's
Yeah,
probably in
yeah.
the 7 to 9 range, somewhere in there. My
I
personal
think I would
number
have him around
5.
7.
My personal number 5 was Cam Akers out of Florida State.
That makes a lot of
He
sense.
probably
I
had
would
he
have
probably
him
had the best day of everybody
at the
at the
combine.
combine. JT had a really good day too, but I felt like Cam Akers solidified himself as a day 2, possibly even solidifies himself as a round 2 pick. I
I'll
thought he was
absolutely
phenomenal.
agree with you there because Cam Akers is a great pick, great back, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Akers ended up being the best back of this class like 5 years down the road.
Ooh, okay. Hot takes, here
I
we come. Ooh.
I think running back a lot matters with situation, injuries, how things play out, where you land, and he's not that far behind CEH in that top 4 to me.
Nice. Yeah, I have him at 5. Um, now, so actually for me, those top 5 are pretty easy. If we're talking about top 4 pretty chalk, I think the top 5 are pretty
Yeah.
easy with
See,
Cam
once you
Akers there at
mentioned
5.
Akers, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
6 through 10
lock.
is an absolute mess. One name that we'll be putting up in there is Darius Anderson at TCU. I think he's the most underrated back in this entire class.
I have not watched film of him other than sometimes, like if I was watching Rager film, I saw
Right.
Anderson do something, but I didn't specifically watch for him ever.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of traits do you like that he brings to the table here?
Okay, if I could describe him in one word, it's slippery. That guy is hard to get on the ground. I don't know how to explain it. He's decent size. He's like 5'10", 190, 200, somewhere in there. You know, he's a fairly well built guy.
Yeah.
But his burst is very impressive. Like his ability to, like he'll get to the edge like an outside zone, put his foot in the ground, looks like a 2-yard gain. All of a sudden he's getting tackled down at 9 yards.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he just finds ways to shed tackles, which he doesn't look that powerful, but like he keeps his legs turning, and arm tackles aren't gonna bring him down. He's got good breakaway speed. His nickname was Jet, so you don't earn that nickname without being fast.
Yeah.
So
like Jefferson.
And it just seems like he always falls forward. Like I was saying, like he looks like he's gonna get tackled at 2 yards. All of a sudden he's like close to first down. He's falling forward.
Falls forward.
I mean, I don't know why he's a day 3 pick. Like I don't see him going anywhere higher than round 4 or 5. Probably in 6 or 7, to be honest.
But you think he's going to be a steal wherever he goes?
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was very high on Miles Sanders last year, and he ended up being a great pick for the
Eagles.
Eagles as well.
Yeah.
Although, however, there's a give and take because I was really high on Sanders. He ended up being great, but not everyone was like super looking at. But then my diamond in the rough pick was James Williams at Washington State, which kind of regret. Like he's not really in the NFL doing anything right now. The reason I picked him was because I thought, well, he obviously has pass catch out the backfield ability because he was at Washington State. So
yeah,
running backs have to be able to catch out the backfield there. And the few times that they did run the ball, he looked like he was very capable. So I'm like, okay, so this guy has low mileage in terms of actually running the ball. We know he has catch out the backfield ability. So I thought he was going to be great. Just didn't work out where he got drafted by the Chiefs, I think, or I don't know. He might have been undrafted. I don't know. But he signed somewhere and jumped around a little bit.
Roster.
He didn't really end up sticking anywhere.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but
I think one thing to mention with those Wazoo backs, or I guess Mike Leach backs, is I think when they run, they get an advantage because the defense is never expecting a run.
That's fair.
So
Yeah,
some of that, the one exception I'll say that is Max Borghi.
I love him. He's
He's one of my favorite players who's going to be still playing next year, like top 3 for sure. Uh, he just reminds me of McCaffrey in so many ways.
I don't know if I say he's that good,
He's
but
not that good, but just watching him play, it reminds you of like McCaffrey light, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I gotcha.
It's um going back to a back I like, I don't love, but I do like the potential of what Eno Benjamin brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean he's got skills in every facet of the game that you'd want. Like he can catch ball out of the backfield. He's a good downhill runner. So yeah,
The
so
concerns there are mileage and
right.
consistency. I
Hmm.
don't know if he had injury problems. He might have, but I do know he did not perform as he was supposed to this last
Right.
year.
Yeah, he was kind of touted as an elite back. He didn't like there was some shine of it like oh like that was pretty nice, but then other times like is he really
Yeah.
this top 5 back everyone said he was?
And
Um, so
there,
yeah, consistency is definitely something we're going to have to look and see from him
yeah.
in the NFL.
But I think his junior year, 2018, was the year he really broke out. Everyone had such high expectations. And last year, Arizona State's offensive line had a lot of new faces. They weren't very good. Jaden Daniels always had pressure. Eno didn't have many running lanes. I think that could also have been a big contributor to his inconsistencies.
Yeah, whenever I see him, I like doing mock drafts and stuff like into the later rounds with like one team. Like, have you used the Draft Network before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I always see his name. I'm like, oh, like I know he's talented. I know what he brings to the table, but there's just always something that's kind of like I don't know if I wanted to if I want to take him. I don't know if I want on my
Yeah.
team because I think it's those consistency issues. Like what Benjamin are you going to get? And you make great points about how he might not have the best help this past year. So I think he probably does still end up in my top 10. A name that I've taken out of my top 10 that I had him before is AJ Dillon. He's a stud. You know, big thighs like Saquon. He's gonna run through you, but he's pretty one dimensional.
And he just doesn't have breakaway speed.
Yeah, he's not gonna take the top off of defense like even JT would.
No.
Um, so yeah, he's probably falling on the top 10 for me just because he's one dimensional. He doesn't have the top end speed that you'd want if for someone that is just a downhill runner. Um, so other names that I'll say fall in that 6 to 10 range are probably Anthony McFarland. You mentioned Zach Moss, Keyshawn Vaughn, Michael P. Ryan. Darrington Evans out of App State is going to
Oh.
go
Oh, yeah.
early, probably somewhere in the third. I don't think he'll fall into the fourth, but he'll probably go somewhere in the third, as high as early third, but I don't think he falls out of the third.
He brings it all to the table, too. He can also
Yeah.
catch out of the backfield, and he was insanely productive over his career at App State.
Yep.
And he was also a winner. He came from a very high level program at the Sun Belt, but still, that was multiple coaching changes. He still produced. The team still won. He had a very good career in college, and I expect
Mhm.
him to be probably the top G5 back in this draft.
Right. Yeah. I think he's just someone that kind of slots in easily. Like he'll fit anywhere. He's got a large toolkit and you can use him however you want.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like you said, he's a winner. App State's won a lot of games the last couple of years. So yeah, I think he's going to be a solid pick for whoever grabs him.
Two other names I want to mention on the negative end. Two guys. One guy I don't understand why he declared. Another guy I've just liked less as I watched his film. JJ Taylor, I've liked less as I've watched his film. I don't think he can really withstand NFL punishment and running, and
Yeah, it's tough
he
because
could be like a change of pace back and stuff, but
right,
I just don't love a lot of his traits on film. And he's pretty easy to bring down. He's elusive, but if he's running between the tackles, he's going to get knocked down pretty easily.
right. It's tough for him because he's a smaller guy,
Yeah.
and then he didn't have a great day at the combine. He didn't run as fast as you want. He dropped some passes coming out of the backfield. So it's like when you're small like that, you
You
gotta
got
be
to do
able to,
everything else
you gotta
right.
be able to be one of the fastest guys in the field, and you gotta catch everything. And if
You
you
got to
can't
be
do that,
Tariq
then
Cohen or Naheem Hines or something
Darren
like that.
Sproles.
Yeah.
You gotta be those kind of guys, and he just didn't show that at the combine. So yeah, he's gonna be a tough team for. Or he's gonna be a tough player for teams to take a pick on.
One of the most surprising declarations to me was Salvon Ahmed from Washington. He was a
Okay,
junior.
I can't even find his name. I'm looking at a list. Oh, there it is, towards the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know why he declared, man. Washington's offense didn't have a good year. He didn't have a great year. I think he had 4 point something yards per carry, like not
Hmm.
not spectacular.
Right.
And watching his film, nothing really stands out. He does have some long breakaway runs, but he takes a little while to accelerate too. And I don't know how he ran. I don't know if he did run or anything,
I
but
don't even know if he's invited to the combine, to be honest. Oh no, he was. I do. I think I remember his name now. He might have been there. I don't. He didn't. He
he
wasn't
didn't like
someone.
impress you. His name
Right.
didn't stick in your
He's
mind.
not. He's not someone that I remembered from watching the
Yeah.
combine. I will throw out one more name. Actually, I'll go two more. So, Javon Leake. Yeah, Javon Leake from Maryland.
Maryland.
Um, I haven't watched too much film on him, but I know that he's one of those guys that doesn't have a lot of mileage because McFarland was the main guy there. So you look at someone like last year, one of the biggest things with um, Miles Sanders was he didn't have that much mileage because he was behind Saquon for so many years. He had
Yeah.
the 1 year to break out, which kind of up to stock. But Javon Leake is like a late round flyer kind of guy that can come and just be like fresh legs when you need it. He could be a solid option there. But again, I haven't watched too much film on him, so I don't know for sure like his skill set or like what if he's really that dynamic. But I know he's got
Yeah.
low mileage, and low mileage is good for NFL backs. And then DJ Dallas in Miami, he's just kind of
I liked him a lot. When
he's
I
kind of got
mentioned
that
him about him,
swagger. He's just kind of got that swagger. Like he's kind of a lot like Benny Snell last year, where it's just like he's not the top back by any means, but he's gonna walk out the field and act like he is every single time.
yeah, and watching some of his film, he had some moments of just like he wouldn't go down. He was more motivated to get that first down or that touchdown or break that tackle than the defender was, and he just made it happen. He made magic happen sometimes, and that's what he needed to do because Miami did not block for him at all, ever. So I like Dallas a lot. I think he could probably sneak into the back end of my top 10, but I don't know how he ran or anything. He doesn't strike me as someone that had top tier speed if he ran.
Right. He probably won't make my
So,
top 10, but it is a fairly deep running back class, to be fair.
yeah,
But he probably won't make my top 10, but he deserves, being shouted out right there.
yeah.
One more wild card because you can kind of use him anywhere. We're not really sure where he's going to end up being used at. Is Malcolm Perry out of Navy. I don't know if he can play receiver or maybe a running back. I don't know how they're going to use him, but he has a lot of protection running the ball at Navy. So,
And he's a playmaker. Like,
so who knows? But some team's going to use him maybe in a Taysom Hill type way. I don't know.
are there any other G5 or smaller school guys you got on your list you've looked at?
Probably not in the top 10, but I do like Michael Warren out of Cincinnati. He's not too bad. Small school guys. That was tough. Probably not. Oh, Raymond Calais?
Oh, yeah. Louisiana, all three of their backs were like NFL caliber guys this year, and I think two of them stayed. But not like high round or anything.
Right. They're not going to make my top
drafted.
10.
Yeah,
They'll be
but
late round undrafted guys. But
they're guys who their talent can be on an NFL football field.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, there is one more. He's not group of 5, but TCU's other back, whose name I can't pronounce. Siwo Alo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not huge on him. I don't really like him that much. I can't pronounce his name, but I know I have watched him. His combine workout, he just didn't move well. He didn't move like a running back. I feel like he's almost too big as a running back.
Hunky.
He's a bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he moves very well. I definitely prefer his running mate Darius Anderson over him. So.
And they split carries.
I think Anderson was the main carrier, I believe. I could be wrong though. I gotta go look at the stats again. But Anderson was definitely they've both been split out wide as receivers before too. So they used them both. I like Anderson more, but we'll see how it translates to NFL. But I really like Anderson. He's in my diamond in the rough contention because he is going to be a day 3 pick, which is ridiculous to me. I think he's better than that. He's probably going to be around, like I said, round 6 or 7, which if he's going to be day 3 pick, I think he deserves at least go round 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if he wins Diamond in the Rough or not. There's some other good guys on there.
I I'm rooting
Okay.
for Omar Bayless there.
Oh yeah. Let me talk about Omar Bryce real quick. So his production is ridiculous. Whenever they need first down or anything, they run him right across the sticks and throw the ball. And most of the time he catches. So his hands are great. One thing about him that I'll criticize is his like his start off the line, his
He
press
doesn't have a great
breaking,
release.
isn't as great as you'd want it to be, but he's someone that's gonna catch everything. Um, if he's getting beat at the top of a route though, he's probably just gonna give up on the route. Is one thing that I saw.
I do worry about him being able to create consistent separation in the NFL because he doesn't have that top tier route running. It's not bad, just like you said, if he gets beat, I think it's going to be, if that happens too often, it's going to be hard for him to come up with different ways to get open,
Yeah.
especially if he can't release at the line well. He'll be,
Right. Yeah.
a step behind.
His separation at the top of his routes wasn't great. I think his strengths are going to come in like crossing routes where even if you got a guy back, you put it like right in the right spot, he's going to catch it.
Yeah.
I think deep routes where he's got to go up and over someone, he's going to catch that. That's going to be like his niche. But yeah, I don't he struggles with separation at the top of his route. And yeah, like I said, if he's getting beat, he's probably just going to end up giving up on that route.
Yeah.
But his production is ridiculous, and so he definitely deserves to be a pick, and he's someone that's definitely slept on.
Oh yeah, I loved watching
ridiculous receiver class.
Yeah. One other thing, speaking of this ridiculous receiver class, I think next year's running back class will be kind of insane because you've got
running back class next year.
Chuba, CJ Verdell, Najee Harris, Kylan Hill, Travis Etienne. You've got a very top heavy star-studded running back class coming out. Journey Brown.
Yeah.
They're going to be,
here's the thing though, but it could end up being very close, very similar to this year. It's almost as if if for running backs to go high, you need the one who's just way better, like Saquon.
Yeah, like Saquon. Yeah, obviously.
If you got all these top tier guys that are like you mentioned, like Chuba, Etienne, Harris, that are all like almost of equal level, it's going to push running backs down as a whole because I can wait on him still. I can still wait on running back is still good, a great player.
Yeah,
so.
I agree, but I do think that if we said if Najee and Etienne were both in this class, I think they would probably slot in as 2 and 3 for me in this class.
Yeah, I definitely had Etienne in an RB1 contention before he went.
Yeah, exactly. And Najee also is just insane.
He's a stud. Yeah,
he was the number one. He was one of the highest high school prospects ever, and yeah. But a guy that I'm really excited to watch next year and just see how he continues to develop and improve is Journey Brown, because I think Journey Brown can really raise his draft stock. Yep. Came from kind of unknown to star.
Penn State's quietly coming in the running back factory, man. They've got some talent coming out of there.
They have for a while.
Definitely. All right. So, yeah, is there anything else you want to hit on real quick related to the draft, this year's draft?
No, I don't really think so. Let me just check over my note one more time and see if there's anything I missed talking about you with. Oh, okay. Here's something. I've seen Ezra Cleveland's name rising on draft boards a lot over guys like Austin Jackson, probably still below Josh Jones, but coming kind of into that top 5 offensive tackle range. And I've heard some scouts raving about him, about just talking with him. He has good head in his shoulders. He's a really smart kid. He's really motivated.
I didn't hear that he interviewed well. That's big for him because he's definitely he's a really athletic offensive tackle. So if he's interviewing well too, that might push him into the first round, to be honest.
Because, it's weird if he didn't have good interviews before. Because, I heard a few scouts on a podcast talking about him interviewing well. And then also a different podcast talking about Brian Harsin, just raving about him and his character.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean to say that his interviews weren't going well. I just hadn't heard anything about his interviews at
all.
Okay. So hearing that his interviews are going well, that might push him in the first round because he's a super athletic offensive lineman. So if you're athletic like that, and he played in a winning program, like you said, the Brian Harsin Boise State. That's a solid program. He looks good on film. If he's interviewing well, that could definitely push him into, like you said, top 5 offensive tackles, possibly into the first round.
Especially because I'm not that high in Austin Jackson.
Neither am I.
I think he can look kind of clumsy, and he can reach sometimes, lose
Mhm.
his balance. He needs to work on his
He's
technique
not
a
as
lot.
powerful either as these other
Yeah,
offensive tackles.
especially for someone that big, you would want him to generate more power.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think he's a guy who kind of falls back on his just, you know, body to
Yeah.
sometimes and
Mhm.
doesn't let his technique do as much. But other than that, that's all I've got to talk about on my draft or pretty much any of the draft. You got anything else you want to hit on before we
No, I'm good. I'm just
get going?
out. If the fans are watching this, don't be surprised if Grant Delpit does not go in round one. Don't be surprised when T. Higgins doesn't go in round one. So stop asking us, where's T. Higgins? Where's Grant Delpit? Where are they? They're not going in the first round. I know it's tough to understand. It's tough to believe. It really is. But it's probably
Yeah,
gonna happen. Stop asking me why there are no running backs in the first round because there's so much talent there. And with the current climate of the NFL, they're going to get pushed down. I won't be shocked at all if there's no running backs in the first round. So just like trust us. Like we're obviously not. We don't work for NFL Network yet. We're not
yeah, not
claiming to
yet,
be the
but
experts or anything, but we're not just saying stuff for our health. We're not just saying stuff for the
yeah,
fun of it.
we
We're
do our
we're
work.
right. We're saying things because we believe that they're right because we're not like we're coming to this informed. So that's why Grant Delpit's not in the first round. That's why T. Higgins is in the first round because they Grant Delpit is his stock is crashing hard after not a great 2019 season. And T. Higgins didn't test well. He just didn't look that as athletic as you wanted him to. So they're not going to go in the first round.
Yeah, and the last few months, the period of like January to now to the draft is where the draft evaluation really ramps up, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more than just stat watching or any of
Right.
that of like who was a star in college. Now it's like who is going to be the most successful NFL player based off pre-draft evaluations,
Mm-hmm.
interviews, film, all of it.
Do you
And
remember
you have,
Ja'Kai Polite from last year?
yeah,
Edge rusher from Florida. He was if at the end of the college football season, everyone's like, "This is a first round guy. He could go in the top 10." Like he was that good. You never know with him. I remember I made some mock at some point in the year where I had the Raiders take him at like their top 10 pick or whatever because he was that talented.
yeah,
He shows up to the workouts out of shape. His interviews are terrible, and he falls over to the third round. And now I don't think he's on the. If he is on the team, it's not the same team that drafted him. So
that's
you
what
never know
happens.
how. That's just how it works.
Man, who was I just about to bring up? Oh, I do have one more question about this year's draft.
Okay, hit me with
What
it.
have you heard anything about Jonathan Grenard? Because watching film during the season, I don't know if there were many edge rushers I was more impressed with than Jonathan
I like
Grenard.
him too, actually, and I think he's a lock. I think he's a lock for day two. We'll see if he jumps into round two or not. But I haven't heard anything personally, but I do like him as a prospect myself.
And also, going from Louisville, producing there, and then immediately becoming Florida's best pass rusher for a good SEC defense, like
Mm-hmm.
that shows he can play at that level too. Like
Right,
I think, I think a team will be happy to get him.
right.
There's a
So
pretty good day two edge rusher class in this
yeah,
year, though.
Bradley and I is another one. I really like Bradley and I, and
Yeah,
he could end up slipping a little bit because his testing was like he didn't run super fast. But that's kind of not what he does. He's not. I don't feel like he's a speed rusher. He's a technique
he's the
guy.
technique guy.
He's strong. He's gonna beat you not with how quick he is, but just with he's gonna outsmart you almost. He's gonna outsmart offensive tackles to get past him. So yeah, I really like him. But yeah, Grenard, I haven't heard anything, but like just knowing how past drafts have worked, he did really had a good day at the combine. Like you said, I think and you think his film was really good.
Yeah,
So given those things, like he's gonna rise. He's gonna rise as long as his interviews aren't terrible.
yeah.
He's gonna be a guy that keeps rising until we get closer to the draft.
And yeah, another guy who's been falling is Epinesa, but I think it's the same kind of thing as Bradley and I. He's more a technique.
Yeah,
He's not
and
a
for
speed rusher.
him, right, and for him, yeah, he really didn't test both combine. He really didn't have
No,
a good day.
no.
And yeah, he's
He's
kind of more of a power guy, but even for him too, he almost translates better as a three tech to me than he
that's what
does
we were
as an
talking about.
edge.
I think we talked about that last time. Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of hand in the ground, kick inside one.
right. Okay, well, I'll give one more name on our edge rusher before we get off here. Is so today Alex Highsmith. He's a edge rusher from
Charlotte,
Charlotte.
right?
His
Yeah.
his he's going way up right now. Apparently, his interviews have been phenomenal, and
That's
so
what you need when you're from like Charlotte.
apparently now he's a lock for the top 100, which
Ooh.
is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's the word going around is he won't get out of the top 100.
I think
Which
he was
is
top 5 in sacks this year in the FBS too.
I'm not sure, but if that's true, that's really good. So yeah,
Yeah.
100 is about it's pretty close to end of round 3.
Yep.
So for a second, Alex Highsmith out of Charlotte is a lock for day 2. That's really impressive, and he's really been impressing people with his interviews. Then, because I think he's talented for sure. He had a good day testing at the combine, but I wasn't sure if he was a lock for round 3. Now that he's a
Yeah.
lock for top 100, day 2 prospect for sure. He's interviewing spectacularly. So good for
him,
man.
man. Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
that was cool. There, it was like said the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
That was weird. All right. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Love talking draft. Hopefully people tune in and get educated because that's what we're here for, man. We're here talking draft, and receiver class ridiculous, running back class ridiculous. They're fun to talk about, but this is gonna be one of the more interesting drafts we had in a while. Not only because of the circumstance, but with all like the virtual stuff's going on, or whatever. But there's just some intriguing storylines in this draft.
More teams have multiple first-round picks in this draft in a long time too, so you can see some teams experiment. I think because they're like, oh, we have another pick, we can go get a playmaker here, and they get a need later.
And I think for me, it's really interesting since Steelers don't have first round pick. The first day for me is just completely objective.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like I'm just trying to guess where everything does, and there's no like last year. I'd sometimes kind of rig my mock drafts so Devin Bush would follow us, but then we went and got him traded up. So I'm like, oh, sweet. But I would kind of just rate like, oh no, they won't take Devin Bush, even though there are definitely teams above Steelers that would. That's why they traded up.
Yeah.
But for me now, it's just completely objective. Like I'm not trying to rig any storylines or anything. It's just what I think is going to happen. So
and ever since I've started really getting into the draft stuff, I've made it completely objective too. But also that comes down to they're like at least 6 guys the Chargers could take, and I'd be pretty happy with.
Right.
I think it's either of the QBs, most of those top 4 tackles. I wouldn't want Wills, but any of the other top 3 tackles or Simmons, I'd be happy with any of them. So one of them's guaranteed to be on the board. We just need to make the right pick.
Right. I can guarantee there'll be at least one tackle on the board at pick number 6. Probably
Unless
more.
The Bengals and Redskins go rogue.
Yeah.
Take Wirfs and Wills 1 and 2.
Wirfs and Wills go 1 and 2.
Yep. Okay, man. Well,
all right, guys. Fun. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe because hopefully I'll be doing more videos like this because they're fun. Hopefully bring Student Section FB. Follow them on Instagram. Hopefully we'll bring them on again. Follow me, Tim's Hot Takes. You know the drill. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on, my good sir.
Thanks for having me.